Did David Grusch personally see a recovered UFO at a secret government facility? Also, has there been independent corroboration of the UFO crash retrieval program? We have this and other exciting David Grusch news to go over, so it's time for a David Grusch news roundup. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, many people have been dissecting, minute by minute, the David Grusch hearing and every word he said and didn't say. And people have been picking up on some really intriguing clues as to what he actually meant. So let's briefly go over this exchange with Mr. Burleson and see whether David Grusch just admitted that he has seen with his own eyes recovered UFOs.
One of my constituents actually sent this next question, and I figured I'd ask it since I had the same thought. You've said that the U.S. has intact spacecraft. You said that the government has alien bodies or alien species. Have you seen the spacecraft?
I have to be careful to describe what I've seen firsthand and not in this environment, but I could answer that question behind closed doors. Yeah.
And have you seen any of the bodies?
That's something I've not witnessed myself.
Okay, and so with that being, one of my constituents...
Okay, so he says he has not seen the bodies. He makes a point of saying he has not seen the bodies. When asked about have you seen the spacecraft, the UFOs, he says, I have to talk about it in a skiff. He doesn't say, I haven't seen it with my own eyes. But he does say that about the bodies. So I think it's safe to say that David Grusch has not seen the bodies with his own eyes. He's seen the evidence of it. Maybe photos, maybe videos, maybe just witness testimony. We don't know. But reading between the lines, and you kind of have to read between the lines unless you're in a skiff with David Grusch, because he's not going to say anything that he can't say. And I respect that. But he made a point of saying he had not seen the UFOs with his own eyes. He had not seen the bodies with his own eyes. But he didn't say that about UFOs. So what do you guys think? Reading between the lines, is he strongly suggesting... I think he's strongly suggesting that he has seen the UFOs with his own eyes. That he has actually been to these facilities and seen these recovered non-human vehicles. But maybe I'm reading into the lines too far and I've just gone crazy this time. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, there's more exciting UFO news to go over with David Grusch, and that is Professor Simon Holland has done some independent research into local, that is to him, the UK, government programs involving UFO crash retrievals, and he thinks he has pinned it down to at least one location. There may be multiple locations, but he has identified what he believes is one specific location of UFO, a hub, I suppose I should say, of UFO crash retrievals, and that is in Woodbridge. And that is Woodbridge, Suffolk. There's a port town and civil parish in the East Suffolk district of Suffolk, England. I'm probably mispronouncing that. It is 8 miles up the river Devon from the sea. It lies 7 miles northeast of Ipswich and forms part of the wider Ipswich built-up area and is close to Kesgrave. So I'm not going to play this whole video. It's 13 minutes long. I encourage you to go watch it because throughout the video, Professor Simon is giving specific incidents and evidences and proofs of what he is saying, but I'm just going to play him summarizing his points. So let's go to that now.
So that's Woodbridge's second secret. Fido, Dog of War, Cardinal Runway, lined up with Cobra Mist, and I can't even mention why, and nuclear weapons. But there's a third secret that's totally related to David Grusch. And that is, this is the U.S. Air Force Space Recovery Team, based at Woodbridge. Large helicopters, their mission was to pick up crashed alien spaceships, Soviet, Chinese, or recover NASA capsules, which they practice with, using large heavy lift helicopters all over Europe, all over North Atlantic. Their area was huge, and they had serious heavy lift capabilities. And it all came back to a very secret hangar where foreign alien crashed spaceships, literally Russian, were hidden before they were flown back to the US, probably to Wright-Patterson or other US-based bases. So yes, the US Air Force has space alien crashed recovery teams, and one of them just happened to be based at Woodbridge, right next to Riddlesome Forest. And yes, it is just possible that non-human material was recovered from crashed spaceships. This is interesting. The truth is out there.
The truth is out there, Professor Simon. So what do you guys think? Is this a proof? Well, first of all, watch the whole video. I'll link to it in the description. But I think this is amazing. We actually have a location, a potential location of a UFO crash retrieval team. And we know that it is in the government's hands as well as the private sector. Ross Coulthard has done some excellent reporting, and he's been saying that there is at least one particular aerospace company that he knows of, and he has direct evidence that and witnesses to support this, at least that, that he has seen himself. He has not released this, unfortunately. The name of the aerospace company. But he has traced it back to Long Beach, California, but it is a global operation. They actually recovered a UFO in Australia and brought it back to Long Beach, California. And this is a private aerospace company, but of course, is probably working with the government and is part of the control group. We also know from the Lance Corporal Weigand case in Brazil that there is a hub of UFO crash retrievals there as well. Now we know from Professor Simon's excellent reporting and investigations that there is a UFO crash retrieval hub in England. Maybe more than one, but specifically Woodbridge, which very intriguingly is right next to Riddlesome Forest, where the very famous Riddlesome Forest incident happened. So what happened in Riddlesome Forest? Most of you are probably very familiar with this story, but just in case you're not, just a very quick primer on it. In December 1980, a series of mysterious lights beamed from Riddlesome Forest in Suffolk, England. The unexplained phenomenon is one of the most famous reported UFO events in history and has garnered the nickname of Britain's Roswell, a nod to the well-known UFO incident that took place in New Mexico in 1947. The Riddlesome Forest incident has taken on near mythical status. What is the truth of it, though? Over 40 years on, are we any closer to understanding what exactly happened that cold and frosty winter's night? Within the leafy surroundings of Riddlesome Forest was a RAF Woodbridge, a World War II era military airfield, which at that time was occupied by United States Air Force. In the early hours of Boxing Day morning, USAF personnel claimed to see strange lights descend into the nearby forest. And it descended, and there was a UFO. People went up to it. There was time distortion. There was all sorts of crazy stuff. And really intriguing and fascinating UFO incident that, again, multiple points of corroboration, highly credible servicemen having these encounters. And it is super intriguing to now put it in context of this happening right and in the same location where there was a hub, or at least is now and presumably was then, of UFO crash retrievals. So could they be related? Was the UFO at the Riddlesome Forest incident coming to check on, these recovered craft. What are they doing with our craft? Or maybe those craft belong to a different race. And that craft, those beings of that race, the Riddlesome Forest incident, were coming to check on their enemies or their allies' recovered craft. Or was that a human craft doing something? Let me know what you guys think in light of this very likely new information. I think that Professor Simon's investigation is probably spot on, and he's probably really caught on to something. But that's just my take. Let me know your take in the comments below. In other news, we have Ryan Graves, who says that since the David Grusch hearing, multiple pilots have come forward telling their own stories of UFO encounters. So could the dam have burst? Could David Grusch have opened the floodgates of a potential series of whistleblowers and witnesses to come forward to share their stories? Man, I sure hope so. I'm not going to play this clip. Yesterday, News Nation gave me a copyright claim on my channel. So I may have to be careful about using News Nation's clips from now on. But very intriguing, and not just intriguing, but encouraging that more witnesses are coming forward in light of David Grusch and his story. And also, of course, the bravery of Ryan Graves and Commander David DeFravor for getting up and telling their own stories. Last, I would like to play this rant by Matt Ford on the Good Trouble show. I've talked a lot about how the intelligence committees of the different chambers of Congress have been sitting on the David Grusch story for 2 years, but it's even more complicated than that, because it appears that Congress people weren't even allowed in the room during these debriefings. So let's listen. Let's give a listen. And, if the man wants to rant, I'm going to let him rant, because he's got some good points and some really good information to share. So let's hear what Matt has to say.
What did Congress know and when? Now, most people are unaware that David Grusch testified in a SCIF, in a classified setting with both intelligence committees. What we are about to tell you is not public knowledge. Multiple sources confirmed that David Grusch's congressional testimony occurred in December 2022 at the top secret, sensitive, compartmented information level. On the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, while no congressman attended the briefing, over 20 congressional staffers, committee lawyers, Grusch, and the Inspector General representative were present. With their classified laptops, these staffers took notes while David Grusch testified for 4 hours. 4 hours. Think about that. Now, things were different at the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, and this is important. Grusch testified for over 8 hours. Who was in the room for Grusch's 8-hour testimony in December? Grusch, the Inspector General representative, a court reporter, and 2 committee lawyers. That's it. 5 people. Where were the Senate staffers? They were not permitted to attend. Think about it. On the House side, you had over 20 people in a SCIF, and on the Senate side, 5. The 2 committee attorneys locked the room down so Senate staffers could not attend. That is some seriously shady gatekeeping going on. What the hell? I mean, seriously. Now, maybe having only committee attorneys present is a method of protecting the senators and their staff. I'm sure it gives them some form of plausible deniability. But with a case of this magnitude, a case with information classified at the top secret SCI level, a case where the whistleblower has been the recipient of administrative terrorism and witness intimidation by the Pentagon and intelligence community, a case where the Inspector General has classified the case as urgent and credible, and the Senate decides to send 2 lawyers and that's it? It's ridiculous. This case and the allegations have everything to do with Democratic oversight and potential programs operating above Congress.
Yeah, there are programs that are operating above Congress, and that is a huge deal. What is going on with these senators being locked out of the debriefing with David Grusch? What is going on there? And does that throw new light onto Kirsten Gillibrand's actions? Is she possibly not hiding stuff and, collaborating with the enemy, Sean Kirkpatrick. She seems awfully chummy with Sean Kirkpatrick and backing up statements that he's made. So I'm inclined to think that she is part of the cover-up. However, this is very interesting if she and others were actually locked out of the debriefing with David Grusch. Now, I'm assuming that she has access to the court reporter's notes and the transcript of the meeting. So I don't think not being there is any excuse for not being aware of what was said during that 8-hour-long debriefing. Man, I can't imagine going through all of that trouble and effort and just being on the ball for 8 hours because he had to watch every single word, just for the sake of a couple of lawyers who are trying to gatekeep this stuff. So it's nuts. It's really a weird situation. And then you have the House where a lot more people were present, although no actual representatives. So, again, you see, kind of a gatekeeping situation, although not as bad. And indeed, the House seems much more open to all of this. And, it's them that held the hearing and everything like that. However, it's been 2 years since that debriefing with David Grusch, and they, along with the Intelligence Committee in the Senate, have also done nothing. Why? We can only speculate, but speculate we will. Because that's all we can do until they actually become more transparent on this issue, and that's why we must push for UFO disclosure so we know what the hell the government has been doing with UFOs and UAP below these many years. How deep does the rabbit hole go? I think it goes pretty deep, but that's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you have enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support the channel in a bigger way, please consider becoming a channel member. Channel members rock. I love you guys. You can also consider leaving a PayPal, or heck, if you're a science fiction or fantasy fan, I'm a science fiction and fantasy writer. You might like one of my books. Here's a trailer for one right now.